medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid.
But you see how much kidnappers are eating from victims.
My bill is government should, I think all the stakeholders in that sector, they need to be spoken to. We sit together and appeal to them. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airlines will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. It's another edition of Inside Nigeria. And of course, as usual, I'm with my regular co-host, Winifred Obebo. Winifred, welcome to Inside Nigeria.
Yes, good morning, viewers out there. It's a lovely day. It's not far-fetched because today is a leadership conference.
Yeah, the Leadership Annual Conference
But
and
it's
Award
nice
2020.
It's nice also to have you on site this morning.
Back again. And of course, our technical people have let the cat out of the bag. We have with us this morning an Abuja-based public affairs analyst and a syndicated columnist, Majid Dayo. Majid, welcome to Inside Nigeria.
And welcome back to.
Thank you. All right, as usual, viewers out there, we're starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. Leadership has an unusual front page this morning. On the front page of Leadership, all set for Leadership Conference and Award 2020 as Vice President Yemi Osinbajo will headline the event. And of course, on the front page of Leadership, we have an array of awardees from our selected person of the year to governors of the year and public service person of the year, among others. But then we'll come back to Leadership to go to other stories on the front page. Well, viewers, we need to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll fix our challenges and continue the discussion. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, and we apologize for that glitch over there. We're back to the front page of Nigeria's most influential newspaper this morning, The Leadership. And of course, on the front page, of leadership. Beside the display of array of awards at the leadership awards this today, we have another leading story about value added tax, and that is VAT. Rivers government, corporate bodies meet as Lagos vows to enforce law. VAT. Rivers government, corporate bodies meet as Lagos vows to enforce law. We have a writer on that story saying we have backing of VAT Act, says Federal Inland Revenue Service. We have the backing of the Value Added Act, Federal Inland Revenue insists. Majid, what is your take about this controversy about the value added tax?
It's very interesting because this has the potential of actually evolving Nigeria into a more balanced federation, strengthening the federating units. I call it a form of organic restructuring of some sort, where nobody's sitting down to discuss it, but somehow it has evolved on its own. And if this is allowed to stay, if the Supreme Court affirms the judgment of the High Court, and states are now given the power to actually collect VAT, I think it will spur other states to be more competitive. It will even break down some of the barriers to national integration, if you ask me. Because if you do that, you want to profit from tax revenues, consumption tax. A state government will do everything possible to make their states accommodating enough for people to come to settle down and run their businesses. So we're likely to see a breaking down of ethno-religious barrier that has been in a cog in the wheel of our progress towards national integration. Because tax is revenue and you need population to generate enough tax. So I'm sure state governments will begin to dismantle things like what we call it, indigenous dichotomy, and who that now pay taxes, who know that their taxes are now domesticated and retained in their states, will begin to seek more participation in the political process of their states of residence. So I actually see state of residence gradually, organically replacing state of origin in our journey towards nationhood. So this is a very important, if not a landmark judgment. And I would advise the federal government not to actually dissipate much energy going against this precedent, this judicial precedents, except for judicial exercise alone. But otherwise, if you ask me, I think it's a welcome development that all of us, all parts of Nigeria, should be eager to actually profit from.
It's a magic too. And also in our political sphere, you see that politicians are jostling for Guba to go and run states now. We know now that they have to grow their economy. They have to
roll up their sleeves.
Yes, taking cap on to grow their economy. It's not just business as usual. You
It's
go there
and
you just wait for the process
to drop from heaven. According to the
That's why I say it's everybody. I think it will whittle down jostlings for
and
political
it might throw up, quality leadership at the state level.
Exactly.
Because you know that there's no free money there anymore. You need to go and generate this money.
Because if you have to even steal money to steal money,
you have to generate the money first. Before you can steal from it. Honestly, I think it's a good development.
Good development.
Yes.
But we see some states still begging, like states like Gombe. We read a report that the Commissioner for Finance was begging Lagos State and Rivers State that they should be their brother's keeper. What do you have to say about
when they talk about brother's keeper?
With Kassina Masari.
When they talk about brother's keeper, I think Nigeria will have a vast understanding of what brotherhood means. Lagos has a population of about 20 million. The 20 million people in Lagos include people from Gombe,
Exactly.
people from Zamfara, people from Anambra,
Yes.
people from all over the country. They're not only Egun people or Ori people or Yoruba people. No. So what is it that Lagos has done to retain this huge number of people in the states? How is the management system of Lagos, of Ogun, of FCT, of Rivers? These states are pluralistic states. They are states that have excellent diversity management systems that makes people simply want to go to the state and settle. Gombe do the same. And you find someone from Anambra, from Imo, from Ekiti, moving to Gombe, set up businesses and homes, and then generate equal number or amount of value-added tax as Lagos is generating. So there's no need to cry foul. When these taxes are retained in Lagos, the Gombe man who lives in Lagos benefits from it. And he cannot ask questions as to how these monies are being expended. Because Lagos is his home. So when we talk about North-South dichotomy, I wonder, who is a Northerner and who is a Southerner? Is somebody whose origins are in the North, or somebody who lives in the North? One day I was talking to Kaduna and I saw a tanker. And if you look at tankers in Nigeria, usually the person who constructed, fabricated it. It's not the name of his company be written down below.
Yes.
And I saw constructed by Ifa Ichuku Gombe. What does that tell you? That Ifa Ichuku lives in Gombe and is constructing tanker for people that need the use of this how do you call it, haulage vehicles. Is more a Gombe man than the Gombe banker who lives in Lagos.
Yes.
This is so. I don't understand for whom the Gombe state government is talking about, is actually fighting for. So he needs to simply improve the economic environment of his state to attract enough people, so that people can begin to also generate economic activity that are going to bring in taxable income. It's as simple as that.
Well, there are many angles to these stories on subsequent newspapers, and we need to join our correspondent in Owerri, Angela Unko Apollo, who is going to tell us about President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to Owerri, the Imo State capital. We learned that the president has touched down at the Sam Mbakwe Airport in Owerri. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
All right, Angela, bring us up to speed. What is happening in Owerri, Imo State capital, as we speak, against the backdrop of the sit-at-home order pronounced by the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra?
Well, thank you for having me. The president has landed. I guess this is the first time he's coming to the Southeast since he became the president of Nigeria. But again, there is serious, or better still, total compliance to the sit-at-home order by the proscribed IPOB. People, out of fear, or perhaps fear of the unknown, chose to stay indoors. And the few people that have to use the road are having a hell of a time. You need to keep showing ID cards to security operatives. Unfortunately, the press team of the governor did not provide enough press tags. And so they actually brought just 20 to the correspondent chapel, which is a far cry from the members. And so what it means is, if you don't have a press tag, you cannot advance. Even when you flash your ID cards, they are not listening. And when you drive around town, people out of sincere concern will caution you, go back, it's not safe, go back. So that's what we're grappling with. But as we speak, the president is having what they call airport reception, or better still, the state government is hosting him to an airport reception, the handshakes and what have you, before the movement to the sites for commissioning this morning. Are you with me?
Compliance of the sit-at-home order by IPOB. Does that mean the Imo State government did not sensitize the people about the visit of the president to Imo State?
Well, they did. A whole lot of sensitization was done. But then what do you do when stuffs like beheading or severance of body parts has been introduced into the, means to press home demands? So people, out of fear, are actually staying home. The bank roads, since I moved away, bank road is probably the most busiest place, which can be likened to somewhere like Balogu Market. There is not a single human being out here. Oh, well, except the police presence and army guys. It is safe to say that the state has been militarized. Everywhere there are, what's this thing called? Armored tanks, armored carriers, all over town, all over Owerri. But people on their part have chose to stay indoors. And so there is heavy military presence, there is heavy security presence, which should actually mean if you come out, you are safe. But I guess nobody wants to take that risk.
So finally, tell us, what are the programs lined up for the president in Imo State, and how many days is going to stay in that state?
It's a one-day visit. Part of what he's going to commission includes the new state executive council chambers. They call it ESCO chambers. The government house, the Governor Hope Uzodinma, upon assumption of office, has turned around the hitherto known ESCO chambers. It's way up to standard now, though former Governor Okorocha did, but that's part of what he's going to commission. There is I think it is called balloon technology, something like that. It has to do with control of flood. It's, according to the state government, it's a new technology, it's a new device brought in to check the spate of flooding that has bedeviled the state in the last 3-4 years. That's the state government says is a novel technology that is going to checkmate the flooding, because when it rains in a way, it takes everywhere is like flooded. Sometimes it goes even beyond the ankle level, even for very tall people. So it is safe to say that the flood can actually um, take human lives, but that's part of what he's going to commission. Also, the Ebuada, I can't get the exact word now, but he's supposed to commission something at Ebuada, amongst other things. But it's a one-day visit, and leaders, Ohaneze people are also in town. Ohaneze Ndibo President, Ambassador George Obiozo, had issued a statement saying that Ndibo should come out en masse to receive the president, bearing in mind that it's the first time he will be in the state, and I think the zone. So yes, it's just two ends to a coin. One side is saying come out, and the other side is saying don't come out. But whichever end has done a thorough job to press home their directives.
All right, thank you, Angela. I ask you to keep
Thank
safe.
you for having me. I will.
That was Angela Unko Akolu, leadership correspondent in Imo State. Majid, I'm not sure the president has been to Southeast since the beginning of his second term in office, and today is in Imo, the state of Hope Uzo Dimma, one of the loyal members of the APC.
First and foremost, it's good that the president has actually visited the Southeast. It's better late than never, but it's very late in the day. The president will advise severally that the president will embark on a tour of this country, particularly the southern parts of this country, giving the agitations. It's not just in the Southeast. We saw it in the Southwest. We saw it in the South. Regular visits and consultation would have gone a long way to ameliorate some of these agitations, because it will foster understanding. People will see their president as their own president and not a president for some other people. This was not done. Again, when the president decided to visit the Southeast, Imo was not the right state, considering the circumstances surrounding the crisis in that region, from which I visited. It gives this visit a partisan coloration. Mr. President should not claim to be oblivious of the fact that the Imo people are not particularly warmed up to Governor Osodima, who didn't emerge through the ballot, but through the courts. And you know how our court system works, and people do not have confidence in our judicial system. And so I would have thought that a conciliatory visit would have been one that would have been devoid of any partisanship. And so a state like maybe Anambra or Enugu, if you ask me, would have been the most appropriate state to visit now.
Majid, Imo suffered a lot of damages in the wake of this IPOP agitation. Correctional center was attacked, police formations and INEC and offices in Imo State.
If you want to put out the fire, you don't jump into the fire. You stay at a safe distance and then extinguish the burning fire. So I have told that the president would have visited a state like which is the symbolic headquarters
of the Southeast,
where he would have a heart-to-heart conversation, engagement with the leaders of the Southeast, his citizens, his young people. The president pledged to be a president for all and for none in particular. Meaning he had pledged to be a president for the entire country, and the entire country was going to be his constituency.
Exactly.
We've not seen that. And the fallout of that is that IPOB suddenly became a legitimate resistance movement. It's asking for either self-determination or outright secession. But this is still good. It no matter how little it is still good. But I'm saying those who planned this visit should have taken into cognizance some of these issues so that this visit would have been fruitful. My fear is this will not be fruitful. The president might go there, and due to the boycott that was ordered by IPOB, which is in effect as we speak, he might not enjoy that warm reception.
Exactly.
And that might also, knowing his kind of personality type, that might also, result into his a little bit of pushback and say, look, these people don't like me.
Exactly.
So why am I even wasting my time? So I think things should have been done properly. But in any case, I hope that this visit will be the beginning of much or such engagement across the country. What Nigeria needs now is unity. And the president is in the best position to bring about this unity through such visits to places across the country in order to give everybody a sense of belonging.
All right, Winifred, let's see what is on the front page of the leadership sister publication, The National Economy.
Yes, national economy. On national economy today, we have how VAT could help states create value, improve business environment. How VAT could help states create value, improve business environment. That's on national economy today.
Well, Majid, the story is
Each time I come here and I make a comment, I get validated by the national economy. I mean, it's self-explanatory.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
This will, it's like an incentive now.
Yeah.
For people
So
to develop their skills and work
if they can pursue the war through.
Honestly, this is a good thing for all of us.
But some states are saying, hey, wait, we can't do that. We want to remain the way we are.
Because they are lazy. The leadership there is lazy. It's not because the people are lazy, but because the leadership is lazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's as simple as
It
that.
is.
All right, we need to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll see what was on the front page of the third paper on our menu this morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and it's still Inside Nigeria on Leadership Podcast Studio this morning. I'm still with my co-host, Winifred Obebo, and of course, our analyst, Majid Dayo, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst and syndicated columnist. Majid, thank you for being with us. Yeah, of course, we're going to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. On the front page of Nigerian Tribune, Rivers got 4.7 billion of 15 billion VAT. Kano received same 2.8 billion generated. Rivers got 4.7 billion of 15 billion VAT. Kano received same 2.8 billion generated. Wike reveals laments injustice. These figures are authoritative because they are coming from Governor Yesen Wike. And it's very, very funny that 15 billion naira was generated from VAT in Rivers State, but while sharing the money, Rivers got 4.7 billion. But for Kano, it generated 2.8 and received the same 2.8 billion.
Well, these figures are scary. And like you said, over 24 hours now that this claim was made public, nobody has come out to dispute it, not FRS, not Kano State government. So, well, for now, we may just accept this as a fact.
But actually, sorry if I may chip in, FRS duty is to collect the VAT. The sharing to states is not done by them, it's done by revenue mobilization.
Okay, so
it's not their stuff.
So and I know that the sharing is based on needs.
Needs.
So why should somebody who is working has less needs to somebody who is not working?
This is the only more reason why this latest judgment has to be pursued to the end.
Yes.
Because
and be embraced by all.
Because the Revenue Mobilization Commission, Fiscal Commission, it's an agency of the executive. The federal government, it's a political body. It is people by politicians. And it tells you that Nigeria's economy is always subjected to political expediency. Meaning that you generate money and somebody sits down somewhere and decides how it is shared based on certain parameters. This is not just injustice, but it's not working for us. It has created a situation where some people are working and others are just feeding from it. It has created a political process that is primarily hinged on patronage, dispensation. Because nobody needs to work. I mean, the work is being done somewhere. And so why do you need to work? And let me say this. If we allow states to begin to manage their VAT and retain parts of it, or even most of it, this VAT revenue will increase. Yes. From what it is. Lagos will generate more. Lagos will generate more. Rivers will generate more. All that stuff will generate, because they know that these monies are being generated for their own use. So it is even a win-win for all of us. Like every state Nigeria has potentials. All states. There's no state in Nigeria without its unique potentials. All that needs to be done is to sit down, roll up their sleeves, and work hard. And this will also bring about accountability. If statements are hiding behind the fact that, oh, we don't know, we don't spend enough money for the federation account because of certain factors. We now know that Rivers, we are receiving huge amount of money from that. So we need to know what we are doing with these monies. And Wiki is able to do this, and we must give him this credit. Wiki is able to fight this battle because Wiki has a reputation as Mr. Projects. People see him working massive infrastructural development of Rivers State. So when he's talking about more revenues to continue infrastructural development, people tend to want to give the benefit of the doubt. So you see, it pays for a governor to perform. It is just in your own interest. It enhances your political fortune. In fact, your biggest political capital is performance. So all of this situation is simply win-win if only we are going to learn lessons from it. So it is in good taste that all Nigerians appear, or most Nigerians appear to support the move to allow states collect and manage VAT. I'm sure they will still have intervention to the federation account for, yes, but that's not the problem, but most of it will be retained where it is generated so that other states cannot allow. Yes. If you look at Kano, for example, I hate to talk about this. Kano has killed the creative industry in that state. Do you know what entertainment generates for Lagos State?
Yeah.
Lagos is the hub of entertainment. If I will tell you something, when you talk about diversified economy, Nigeria's economy is diversified. But the problem is, most of the sectors in your economy, your housing estate, your housing sector, agricultural sector, manufacturing, are not export competitive. So only crude oil export, energy, forex. But I can assure you that if there's one sector of this economy now that is export competitive, it's the entertainment industry. Our young artists and musicians are global brands today. They go for sold out shows all over Europe and America. And they bring in forex. So they buy their properties in Lekki. They retain these monies in Lekki. They spend it in Lagos. So Lagos now has, is having an extra but secure source of forex through entertainment industry that is likely domiciled in that state. What we have in Kano, they have killed the creative industry in Kano using some obnoxious religious laws that have nothing to do with even the Islamic faith. We have crippled the entertainment industry. They cannot even compete and generate the necessary revenue
was the time it
that is
was
required.
flourishing.
It was flourishing.
Then.
You used
And
his
got the
bar.
Kano to
You used his
cover
bar
the
to destroy the creative
entertainment.
industry.
Yes.
You've destroyed it. Not that the Abu Notala is not creative. He's very creative. It's not that is in Lagos and is making a lot of money.
Yes.
It's something that cannot be so because you have restricted it, you have killed it, crippled it. Or is it the sales of alcohol? Look, anything that you do not permit your state, you don't also want to benefit from the revenue derived from there. It's straightforward and it is something that nobody should indulge in. So I'm saying, look, we need to rekindle the creative industry in northern Nigeria and allow a more liberal environment that will help spur economic development. I was in Dubai a few years ago. Dubai is a Muslim country. Now, I opened my fridge in my hotel and I saw alcoholic beverages there. I spent 10 days with my wife until we came back here. The alcoholic beverages remained where they were kept by the hotel management. You know why? I'm observing my Sharia faith. I was alone in that room. I could take alcohol if I wanted to take it. But I didn't because Sharia faith prevented me from. But what the Dubai authorities did was, for those who do not subscribe to Sharia faith, you have the option of drinking and paying us our VAT. It's as simple as that. So why are we practicing something that has no parallel anywhere in the known world, not even in the larger Islamic world? Sometimes I get uncomfortable discussing this issue. But these are the realities. With this, I'm sure it will reset the thinking across this country to allow for an egalitarian society. The most prosperous societies are those that are egalitarian, that are free, that are equitable, where fairness and justice reign. These are the most prosperous countries in the world. And for me, they are the most Islamic countries. That is what Islam actually preaches. So I am appealing to Nigerians across board to learn this lesson. If you create a state for all, you get more money from VAT. You wouldn't need to start quarreling over what the state is trying to do or Lagos is trying to do. You will get more money, perhaps more than Rivers and Lagos, if only you sit down and work on your economy.
Wow. So, Majid, lastly on that issue, beyond the economy, don't you think also this battle being fought by Wike is also calling to question the type of federalism we practice in this country?
For me, it has actually resolved the major issue that the 99 Constitution is not an impediment to true federalism.
Yes,
I've said it severally.
Yes,
That yes, no structure is perfect, no constitution is perfect. It's all work in progress. But sometimes we need to actually test the limits, the positive limits of whatever we have at hand, to see the benefit. For now, asking for amendments. What Wike has done is to actually point out that the 99 Constitution allows states some level of fiscal.
It's a concurrent list. It's not an exclusive list.
Yes.
I don't know why states did not exploit.
Exactly.
Before now.
Before now.
Nobody was.
And there are many more areas, including state policing in this country.
And you know that FRS on his own knew. You know that's why it's quickly sponsored.
Exactly.
That they
They
should
saw
move
that
it.
lacuna.
Of course, Wike said because they were already in court last year.
Exactly.
They
So
saw the lacuna.
I do not think the FRS should be in this battle. You know why? Mohammed Nami, you're from a state. It's called Niger State. This is going to benefit Niger State. You are not going to be chairman of FIRS.
No, FIRS will be out of work.
No. There are some taxes that will be
Yes,
but I think VAT they get the largest chunk from VAT.
If the states retain it, it is still for the benefit of Nigerians.
Exactly.
You should not be in a hurry to want to meet certain kind of target. It's not your
Competition.
It's not. Allow the state. It's part of the development in the state. All we need to press for, and it's important I made this point, is inclusiveness now in Rivers, Lagos, and other states. It's shown like Wike, and I must say this, declares Rivers a Christian state at every opportunity. No, Rivers is not a Christian state. Rivers is a state for all Nigerians. Christian, Muslim, Ijo, Isekere, also Fulani. So this is what we should be pushing towards now. It's not to Lagos. Lagos is no longer a Yoruba state. Lagos is now a state for all Nigerians. And political participation, social inclusivity should be top notch, where everybody should have a say in how this huge reputation revenue is actually utilized. That should be the conversation going forward. I'm not trying to draw a dichotomy between North and South or between one state and the other. No.
Okay, Winifred, let's complete the day's menu with the next newspaper, and that is Daily Sun.
We are moving over to Daily Sun. Yes, Daily Sun is away, has moved away, just like you said.
From that
From
economy,
Something that is very important.
and very disturbing.
It's a cholera. 2035 killed in 2 months. 2035 killed in 2 months by cholera. UNICEF expresses worry.
Of course, the Nigerian government
That is
ought
on
to
Daily
be the
Sun
first
today.
expressing worry
And
for
not
UNICEF. This
not
is the
a
story.
global body. UNICEF, because of course it affects children more.
Exactly.
Cholera. I was asked once, how can people prevent cholera? I said, no, people cannot prevent cholera. People don't have access to clean water and proper sanitation. Waste disposal. Cannot control cholera. Cannot prevent it. This is the full responsibility of the government. Our healthcare management system is not the best that it should be. It's not even good enough. I mean, you have doctors on strike. But beyond that, how are Nigerians accessing potable water? Because cholera is a hygiene-related illness. How many Nigerians can drink from safe sources of water? If you go to so many communities in Nigeria, they drink from the same source of water that they defecate. Even in Lagos State, for example, look at Lagos Lagoon. I look at the adjoining communities around the lagoon. So it tells you that we have been living on a time bomb, because what is happening today didn't just start, or it didn't just happen overnight. It's a cumulative failure of the government to provide welfare for citizens. Welfare not just in terms of food, but safe, clean environment, safe, clean drinking water. And this should be the focus. Cholera is better prevented than cured because it spreads rapidly. So what is government doing? I want to call on the government at the state level this time around.
And the treatment is annually. It happens every year.
So the state government, the FCT administration, the sub-national governments have a full responsibility in this regard. It is their responsibility to provide primary health care facilities for their state, for their citizens. It is their responsibility to provide safe drinking and affordable water for citizens. This is the irreducible minimum that the state government should be able to offer or provide for its own residents and citizens. But they are failed spectacularly in this. Failed. So I hope, well, again, let's go back to the issue of VAT. Now that they have more revenue from VAT, I hope and pray that they can now channel these resources towards providing basic amenities for citizens. You know, I say this because sometimes we were focused on the federal government because they have a large chunk of this revenue. But if progressively we see the states taking over their revenues and even controlling their resources, we cannot focus on any individual state and their failure to do the nature.
But most times, the fact that the federal government takes a large chunk of the revenue, do you know that the federal government still deploys most of this revenue to settle issues to the states? Exactly. You can imagine a situation whereby, for instance, primary health care center that's supposed to be the purview, under the purview of local government, is the federal government that still builds. Yeah, I know so I know these things. The federal government that still goes to build comprehensive health centers in most of these local governments. Exactly. So
there's something wrong with supranational governments. Something.
State governments are not developing their roads. They target federal roads. So you see some roads so bad.
But I think again, we need some level of.
Develop the roads.
We need some level of. I don't know what you're going to call it. Either a configuration or what I call organic restructuring. I'll tell you the problem with the subnational level, and it's a political problem. Have you observed that most of us live in states? No, I mean we live in Abuja here. All of us live in Abuja. We pay our taxes in Abuja. We own parties in Abuja. We work in Abuja. We earn salaries in Abuja. But most of us are fixated on the politics of our states of origin. How we do not live.
Yes, you're right.
All right,
so there's a misalignment between policy and economy. It has to be corrected.
All right, we have been joined by Bukola, leadership financial correspondent from Lagos. She also has spoken to us before now. Bukola, good morning.
Good morning.
Bukola, can you hear us? Good morning. Lagos.
Yes, I can hear you very well. Can you hear me? Good morning.
We can hear you.
All right, Bukola, bring us up to speed. What is the thinking of the financial or the economic community in Lagos as to the ongoing battle for the control of VAT collection by some states in Nigeria? All right, it seems we are having a challenge with the connection with Bukola Idowu from Lagos.
Can you hear
Majid,
me now?
hello, Bukola. All right, Majid, after the cholera discourse, we are going back to the front page of leadership. We need your take as to the choice of the board of editors of leadership.
Oh, wow.
Today, being 9th of September 2021, the stars will line up at the International Conference Center 5 p.m. today, where the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo, will deliver a keynote address. Now, we want to know whether our choice are in order or not. Let's start with leadership persons of the year. Professor Akinwumi Adesina, the president of the African Development Bank. If you recall, in the year 2020, he passed an international hurdle. He passed through that hurdle. He was accused of nepotism, corruption, and he was subjected to internal trial. He passed through it, and the US said no. Akinwumi cannot pass through. And they also, at their own level, constituted another panel, which also exonerated Akinwumi Adesina. By that singular accomplishment, he has made Nigeria proud.
Yes.
So I don't know if you believe with our choice.
No, I must commend the selection.
Okay.
I'm not talking with me that you talked about. I mean, there's nothing, it's unacceptable.
Okay.
It's been a grand for Nigeria on the international stage. Because let's also look at someone like Governor Zulu.
Yes.
Governor Zulu is fighting Boko Haram, in fact, Boko Haram in the state in so many fronts. Governor Zulu, apart from not purveying political Islam, which was at the root of the Boko Haram crisis in the first place, Governor Zulu is promoting religious equality in the state.
Yes, sir.
Governor Zulu appointed a Christian as head of service. People support opposed it. Governor Zulu promoted that young woman from southeastern part of Nigeria who reported for duty earlier than another person in the state. He rewarded her, promoted her, and declared her an indigene of the state. Recently, there was an ugly incident that involved the Christian Association of Nigeria, a church, and a demolition.
Yes.
Governor Zulu ordered for the arrest of the person who put the trigger and his prosecution, and it is ongoing. And he visited the family of the police and expressed regret over the ugly incident and explained that it was not targeted at the Christian community, but it was simply a matter of environmental sanitation. Governor Zulu has taken every step and is building schools, which is symbolic of the ideology that can defeat Boko Haram. It's like a Boko Haram ideology.
And I think
He's building schools where schools are demanded.
beyond schools, developments
And he has brought
in the midst of insurgency.
because part of the reason for the insurgency is absence of governance.
Exactly.
So Solomon is trying to bring governance back to the people so that they can have a choice in considering the different Boko Haram insurgents. So Solomon is one of the a right choice for this award. Now, if you look at, of course, Mr. Project, Babajide Sanwo-Olu must be commended for the way he handled the pandemic and the NSAS crisis.
Exactly.
This man was level-headed throughout. He didn't lose his school. He was abused. He displayed the most democratic credentials in that time period in the state, and he was able to manage the entire crisis to such a manner that at the end of the day, there was reconciliation that was healing in Lagos. You would wonder whether this happened in Lagos just a few months ago.
Exactly.
Are you talking about Arotile, for example?
Yeah, the young person of the year.
This for me
Tolulope Arotile.
is very thoughtful of the board of editors
Of the leadership.
because she paid supreme price. Look at Habatrigbe. I'll tell you something that Habatrigbe has done. He has taken a Nigerian banking brand into export competitiveness. He has just signed a business deal with the French government to establish Access Bank in France. If you know one of the problems of Nigeria's economy is that we do not have export competitive brands. Access Bank has been taken into the heart of Europe, from West Africa to Europe, through the leadership of Habatrigbe. Or is it further referral of files? We talk about entertainment. He's one of the major stakeholders in that entertainment industry. How about my brother, Abrazak Isakutekba? He has taken advantage of the government policy of energy security to establish a refinery in Imo State. His company, Watersmith, has established a refinery that would add to the pool of refined products for domestic self-reliance. So your choice has been wonderful.
Yeah, we will continue talking about the choices, but we need to talk with Bukola Idowu from Lagos. Bukola Idowu, good morning again.
Bukola, hearing us?
Hello, Bukola. All right. I think the connection, we need to forgo that discourse. Now,
Hello, yeah, I'm with you.
Godwin, Bukola,
Oh, can you hear me now?
we are hearing you.
Yes, I can hear you. Good.
All right. What is
okay? Good morning
about,
once again.
Good morning.
You mentioned about
What?
the.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the for the tax expert that I've spoken with, in recent times concerning the VAT brouhaha that is currently ongoing. The general atmosphere is that the tax experts are seeing this as the right step for the country to move forward. Basically, they are seeing it as a way to make states that are not earning enough, that are not making as much as they should in terms of internally generated revenue, to be able to work more and be able to get more. Now, for states like Lagos states that are already doing so much in terms of tax revenue, tax generation, it would it's a good thing for them, because they will just, that means they will retain most of what they get. They will retain what they get. But for states that are not earning any at this moment, it may be a trying period for them, but then it is for them to learn how to walk, how to crawl, and then walk, and then states will now be able to generate as much as they would. And for many of them, for many of the tax experts that I also spoke with, they see it as a way to actually, for the country to actually achieve true federalism. And one way or the other, I think I would agree with them. Some states actually need to show up and be able to do as much as they can in terms of generating revenue from tax, because very soon oil may not be able to sustain this country. So states need to work more and be able to do more in terms of tax generation.
So what is the extent of work on the VAT bill before the Lagos State House of Assembly as we speak?
Sorry, I didn't get what you said.
What is the extent of work, legislative work on the VAT bill before the Lagos State House of Assembly? How far has the Assembly gone?
Okay, currently, for now, I may not be able to say, but I know that Lagos State. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, public hearing on the bill.
Sorry, I didn't get what you said.
All right, Bukola, we need to allow you go because of time.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. Bukola Idowu is leadership correspondent in Lagos. Many thanks to you for joining us on Inside Nigeria this morning. Now, Majid, we need to go back to the
Thank
front
you very
page.
much. Thank you very much.
Now, Godwin Emefiele is one of the persons of the year 2020. Emefiele, in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic outbreak, came up with monetary policies to insulate the national economy from the effect of the virus. And here we are today, even though we suffered something, but then we are still back on our feet. Is our choice correct or not?
No, it's correct, because I do not envy Emefiele. Emefiele came in at a time that Nigeria was going through a lot of difficulty. So he found himself doing both the job of monetary policy and fiscal implementation. And so you see the CBN under Emefiele going outside, some might say, its original mandate to actually take charge of the economy practically. And so that's an unenviable and very difficult task to undertake by any CBN governor. So he's the most unlucky CBN governor in the history of the Fourth Republic. It's like a child that was born into a family that has to actually fend for both himself and his siblings and his parents. So you go out work in the late morning and do sort of order just to feed the family. That is what Emefiele has done in the last 6 years or so. And so he's done a lot. He's done a lot to cushion the effects of almost near government inertia in terms of economic management. He has taken upon himself to fill a gap, a void that was left by the inability of the government to put up a formidable economic team. So to that extent, he has done so much. And he's still doing a lot. He has intervened in agriculture, he's intervened in manufacturing, he's even intervening in cattle breeding business, ranching. He has a lot, so much of initiatives to spur economic growth. And most importantly, Emefiele has continued to tighten the noose on Nigerian banks to prevent them from doing what happened to the banks in 2008, who had a banking crisis. Emefiele is holding on tightly to the control measures and safeguards that were put in place by his predecessors, and is even improving on them. Now, the CBN, if you go to the banking sector, the CBN is feared, and that is why they try to abide by every rule of the CBN. So, to that extent, Emefiele has done creditably well as CBN governor and deserves this award.
Well, lastly, we have two politicians of the year: Yobe State Governor Memala Buni, and of course, his counterpart in Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. Obaseki did the unthinkable, broke away from his godfather and still won the election of
Another party.
under the platform of another party. And of course, Memala Buni, under his interim leadership of the APC, many big wigs were won into the fold of the party.
Yes, Memala Buni has done well in trying to stabilize a crisis in the APC. He's a tested politician, was former secretary of the APC. Before then, was the chairman of the APC in Yobe. So he's a tested politician, a level-headed gentleman, very amiable, and he's done well for his party. But I wish Memala Buni's engagement with the party will end very soon, so they can go back to the state and concentrate on governance. The same way Zulum, for example, is doing in Borno State. These two states are crisis-ridden, and we need the level of constitution, the level of governance present that we're seeing in Borno, in Yobe, in order to help the federal government's war effort against terrorism. Then as for Governor Obaseki, well, the category is politician of the year. So politicians are not always the best of people, but it's
for one thing or the other.
The end justifies the means. So we are looking at the fact that this man was able to break away. But the slogan that said, "They don't know the Lagos," and he won a resounding second round victory. But also, I would also want to see Obaseki settle down and convert this victory. For the people actually giving this mandate.
Development for the people.
Tangible development in the state. I don't know if you have appointed a cabinet up to now.
Not yet.
That's
not too good. That's not too good.
No, that's not too good. It's not, and he needs to settle down and deliver the much promised dividends of democracy to the people of Edo State. I was in Edo State recently, and there is a lot of room for improvement. So I think Sawol should spur him, should bring him on the spotlight, and then spur him to do more. Since he's able to achieve a feat of winning an election without support of godfathers, he should also know that he'll be celebrated as governors of the year, like Wike, like Sanwo-Olu, like Zulum, if he also does the good work he was actually elected to do. So I think this should be like an incentive for him to become a good governor, not just a good politician.
Many thanks to you, Majid Dayu. Majid Dayu is an Abuja-based public affairs analyst and a syndicated columnist. We hope to see you at the venue of the Leadership Conference and Award this evening, 5 p.m. at the ICC. And we are telling our viewers that Leadership Facebook page and YouTube channel will stream live the event beginning from 5 p.m. Today. Winifred, it's time to go.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been an interesting time with public analysts and body, of course. So join us at the live coverage of our Leadership Conference Awards. See you there.
Later today. All right, my name is Bode Gbadebo. Bye for now.